Hi guys, this is Dan. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is like a reminder to myself, don't buy too many books Dan. Because in today's video, I will go through every single one of the books on my physical TBR. We all love buying books. Maybe you find a good deal with a used copy, getting your hand on a new release, getting some books from book subscription, or maybe sometimes a special edition. There's nothing wrong about it. We all love a retail therapy. But what we need here is a plan. So in today's video, I will not just go through every single one of them, but most importantly, to talk about when will I read them. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Dynasty so you won't miss anything fun from me. You can also support me by becoming my Patreon, visiting my Ko-fi, follow my Instagram for more daily updates, and all the links are in the description below. If you want to, you can also share how many books are on your physical TBR. I believe I am not the only one here. I think the easiest way to start with is from my good old book subscription, and we can begin with the Broken Binding because I have the first two books of their latest fantasy subscription from the Rook and Rose series, The Mask of Mirrors and The Lion's Knots by M.A. Carrick. And I also got the signed book place from the author, and it is right here. You can see it from here. And the authors are honestly so kind and helpful, so I'm really lucky here. As you know, I love clearing all these subscription books as soon as I got them. So the first book of the series is already in my April's TBR, Lion's Lost will be in my May's one, and the last book obviously will be in my June's. So not a big problem to clear this series out. Speaking of problem, now this one really is a problem because I got the Maleficent set by Stephen Erickson. This set is heavy. Maybe I just need to pick up the first book to show you guys. This series or this edition I have here got no problem, and it is not that so-called themed paper set. If you don't know about the Maleficent, it is a high epic fantasy series that known for its intricate world building. I have also heard about when the series developed, in the later books the glossary can get real long. When I get this series, I was thinking it is like a very classic epic fantasy and well loved by this community, so why not get a copy of it? But the problem here is, it is not like an amateur level of epic fantasy series. So I do want to clear other very popular epic fantasy series on my list first before jumping into this one. When majority of the well-known one, let's say Cosmere, is done, I can put all my attention on this series. It is a series that I do want to enjoy because of how much work Stephen Erickson has put in it. And in terms of the schedule, I think the earliest I can pick up this series maybe is around the second half of 2026. I know it is like long time away, but what I can tell you is I definitely won't start this series in this year because I still got the Wheel of Time and the Echo Saga to work on, so this series has to wait. The next subscription I have here is the Angstrom one. I did skip the second quarter book because there are just too many new exciting fantasy titles gonna be out in spring, so there's no time for me to pick that book up. The only one from Angstrom that I haven't started it yet is the Outcast Mage by Annabelle Campbell, their first quarter book of this year. This is actually a book that can take off one of the prompts from the Reddit Fantasy Bingo, and it is the underrated fantasy book. Hope that I can get to this book real soon and I can take off one of the prompts on the bingo. I think I can read it before autumn, so more or less around summertime, and this book is not too thick. The other subscription I have or had is Fairyloot because I have already cancelled my Fairyloot adult book only box, and now I have actually just enrolled in their romantasy one for one particular reason. From the other box, I still got The Gods Below to finish, and it is written by Andrea Stewart. I think it is the September book, right? Yes, it is the September book from last year and I still haven't read it yet. The only reason is this book on Goodreads only got a very average rating, which is more or less around 3.6 star. And you know, I have so much more other exciting books to read, so I always forgot about this one. And the other one from Fairwood is the romantasy book last month, and it is Firebird by Julia Cross. Yes, I paid for a monthly romantasy subscription, and the only reason is this redesigned cover is actually done by one of my favorite graphic designers called Jeff Brown. Yes, the designer made me buy this book. Even though I am not too overly interested in romantasy, but because of this cover, I can't not get it. I think it is about an enemy to lover situation, and you can tell already there is a dragon in the story. I would say I always judge a book by its cover, and if there's like a club for it, like judge a book by its cover club, I am definitely the chairman of it, so I can't wait to get into this one. The next book is actually from Gospel, but not their subscription because I have already cancelled it many months ago. And I have the special edition of A Tide of Black Steel by Anthony Ryan. When I was still a member of the GSFF, I got a cheeky little discount from them, and then around the National Book Day or something like that, they also offer another discount on top of it. So there's no reason not to browse and see is there any books that like get my attention, and this one is one of it. Not one of it, the only one. I ended up getting this one because it is a first book of a brand new fantasy series by this author, and I think it is a Norse myth inspired sort of fantasy. But unfortunately, I don't think I am in the mood of this kind of fantasy, and I honestly don't know what to expect from this author. So unless this book can take off some of the prompts from a reading challenge, possibly I won't pick it up anytime soon. Maybe, if I'm being hopeful here, maybe around wintertime, it could be a perfect seasonal read, but if not, sorry. I don't think I'll read it anytime soon. Speaking of subscription, I still got one book to read from Afterlight, and it is Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. Yes, it is from Afterlight, meaning that it is a romance. It is from the last year November box, and I was going to, of course, read it around Christmas time, and I mean, look at the cover of it. And it was also set during Christmas time, but unfortunately, I was too busy around Christmas, and I honestly just want to spend time with family and friends, so I didn't really read much. And obviously, there's no reason to read a Christmas book when it is spring already. And you can already tell when would I try to read this one again, Christmas this year. And if we are talking about romance, I also have one extra book here, and it is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I bought this one when I was exploring this genre, romance, and why I can't say her name, Emily Henry is possibly one of the most well-known authors for this genre. And then I saw a deal on eBay for this like used copy, so why not getting it? To be fair, I don't know when will I start this one, but I think when I am running out of like cozy fantasy, something that is easy to read, something that is my guilty pleasure-ish, I will pick this book up in between my chunky epic fantasy. And I also want to check out what's so special about this author. Why does she get so popular? If we are talking about romance, maybe we can also talk about this book because it is a romantasy. I have House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I started this series, Crescent City, last year as a special project for Valentine's Day to check out what's so special about romantasy and what's so special about Sarah J. Maas. First book, House of Earth and Blood, was great, and I was let down by the second book, which is House of Sky and Breath. Especially with how the last book ends, I do need to catch up with the Aqueduct series first before jumping into this one. I don't think Akuta is like a trilogy like Crescent City, and I think there are at least 5 books in total, so it is also another commitment. Not sure shall I continue with the Crescent City as my next Valentine's Day project, or maybe I should start with Akuta. Let me know in the comment what do you think. Do you want me to read this one or Akuta for next Valentine's Day? Another hype book I plan to read but obviously haven't is Brandon Sanderson's Wind and Truth, the 5th book of the Stormlight Archive. I know that on this channel I have already said it for many times already, but basically I want to catch up with everything that had happened in the Cosmere first before jumping into this epic conclusion of an era. I am just a bit scared this book will got some sort of connections to other works in the Cosmere. I've been doing great with this progress, and I think the only books left before jumping into this one includes the last book of Miss Bond Era 2, Elantris, and also some novellas that is set in the Stormlight Archive. Don't worry everyone, everything is under control and I don't think it will be too long before I can start this one, but I do hope that I can finish it before autumn this year. After all these hype books, books from subscription, I have some books from some fantasy series. First of all, I have the whole series of the Blood Swan Saga by John Gwynne here. Cut this long story short, I saw Waterstone is doing a half-price sale for this last book of the series, and I mean it is also signed by the author. No reason not to get it. And I mean I was always interested in this series, and John Gwynne, this new author to me, I have heard lots of positive comments about the author and this new trilogy. After getting the last book in a hardcover format, of course I would want the rest of the series would be in the same condition. So I looked up online and see whether anyone is selling it, and especially for the first book, it is quite hard to find. Very luckily, I found a private seller is going to sell these 2 books for a very affordable price, and I mean, no reason not to get it again. So my plan to read this series though, I think the earliest would be by the end of the year. If not, it would definitely be in 2026. And like I said in my Reddit Fantasy Bingo, I do want to check out 4 fantasy trilogies. One of them is The Blade Itself or the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. And the Blood Swan Saga can be the second one. After the Blood Swan Saga, I have another very popular, well-loved trilogy, and it is the first 2 books of the Empire of the Vampire series by Jay Kristoff. Jay Kristoff is also a new author to me. I have never read anything by him before, and I honestly didn't expect I would get my hand on these 2 copies. Only because I saw the first book on sale on Vinted for a very affordable price because of the condition it is in. And this is not like the last series, the Blood Swan Saga, where the first book got a reprint. This one haven't yet, so I count myself very lucky to get a copy of it in hardcover. Same goes to the Gospel edition. I didn't order it from Gospel directly, it is also a used copy. I don't care if they're not in the same sort of edition, but if I can get a hardcover of them, it is great already. I am very lucky here. I know that the last book of this series will be out around September or October this year, and it sounds like it is a perfect seasonal read for the spooky season. Either I will read the first book around the same period of time to see will I love this author or will I love this series. Or like the Blood Swan Saga or the First Law trilogy, it might be the 3rd series I am going to read in 2026. My only worry is I have checked out this series in Waterstones before, and I mean the words are really tiny on a page, and I do mean it. Even though on this hardcover you can see it is really tiny and lots of words on a page. So I think if I need to get into this series, it would be better to avoid reading this one and another epic fantasy book at the same time. The next two I have here is not from a series, they are individual books at the moment, aka they're standalones. The first book I have here is Never Dies by Rob J. Hayes, and I got this edition from the Page and Wig subscription, but don't worry, I didn't pay for this subscription. I got it from a private seller. The reason why I am getting this one is also the same as Firebird by Julia Cross from Fairy Lit Romantasy. This cover is designed by who? Jeff Brown again. This is exactly the reason why I am getting it, just because of the artist, and I mean, look at it, I don't regret it. I first heard about this series or this book from the Broken Binding press edition. That edition looks stunning, but also the price tag. Seeing Page and Wig also pick this one up as their subscription choice, I am like, I need to get it, no matter what. Also, this one is lighter because when I was holding the last two series, I am like, my arms and shoulders were like hurting already. This one is on the shorter side, and I think it will be perfect to read in between some chunky epic fantasy books. I do look forward to start this one, and I think it is like a Japanese samurai inspired fantasy, which sounds interesting already, and I hope that I can get to it during summertime. And the last one here is A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson, and as you can see, it is the Waterstones exclusive edition. To be honest, I forgot why I get it. Maybe around December last year, Waterstones was doing like a triple stamp event. I, of course, pre-ordered Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, and I think you need to spend over £100 to qualify for this. Also around that time, this book got quite hyped, and I mean, look at the cover. It looks so much like The Diary of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, so I ended up getting it without knowing what would happen in this book. I think this one is quite different from all those we have just talked about because it is a YA historical fantasy romance and definitely featuring a dragon as well. Even with this beautiful cover, I honestly don't know when will I start it because I even forgot why I get it. It sounds like something that you would read around autumn or winter, so I guess the earliest I will pick this one up is later in 2025. By the way, I forgot to talk about these two books because it is part of the Echo Saga, which is a high epic fantasy series that I am currently reading. I have the second book, Empire of Dirt, and the third book, Relic of the Gods here. So they are part of my 2025 reading plan, and I hope that I can finish this 9-book saga by the end of 2025. And I have just finished the first book, so it is still a long way to go. For the rest of the videos, I need to pick those books up first, so wait for me. It is just down here. For the rest of the books here, you may have heard me talking about them before, maybe in a book haul, maybe in a reading plan, or even in a seasonal TBR, and yes, I haven't finished them yet. So I would be quite brief here without talking too much about what these books are about. I think it will be easier for me to talk about those in my winter TBR. Yes, I am talking about winter TBR when I have just gone through my spring TBR. The first one I have here is The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman, and it is like a modern retelling of the legends of King Arthur. I heard about quite a lot of positive reviews of this one, saying like it is going to be a fun read. And it was on my Winter's TBR, and if it is here, it means that I haven't read it yet. My only worry about this one is actually quite long and thick, so I don't know when should I start with it. It is just like slightly too long currently for me. I still got so much other epic fantasy books to read. Same goes to The Dance of Shadows by Robert Payne, another book on my Winter's TBR. I think this one is like an African-inspired fantasy, and it is like an revenge story. I always want to get into this one, but very unfortunately, there are just so many other more exciting fantasy titles coming out in spring, so this one has to wait. I think the last one on my Winter's TBR or even Summer's TBR is The Water Outlaws by S.L. Huang. It is a retelling of one of the 4 Chinese classic, Water Margin. I know some of you are also interested in this one and want me to share my thoughts about it. I really want to get into this one, and I think the earliest could be around summer this year. I really want to get to it soon. For the rest of the books here, how should I say it? I would say I don't see myself reading them anytime soon. It is a very polite way to say so, because you can also say they are books I regret to buy. The first one I have here is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. It is like an urban fantasy which gives a city a life. I know that N.K. Jemisin is such a great author, but I don't know why. I feel like if I want to start, because N.K. Jemisin is a new author to me, I think it would be better for me to start with another very popular fantasy series first, which is The Broken Earth, before jumping into this one. So there's absolutely no rush to start this one. I also have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. To cut a long story short again, the only reason for me of getting it is only because when this book was first out, this edition especially, it was advertised as like a 10th anniversary edition, and the author has actually rewritten this book. So in my mind, I thought this is the only book in this series that's going to be rewritten by Samantha Shannon, and it is also the reason why I get this book to celebrate this event. Obviously, it is not the case. Samantha Shannon has actually rewritten all the books in the Bone Season series. You know me, I just got too many epic fantasy series to catch up with, and I think the Bone Season series actually got at least 5 books in it. If I need to start this series, it would be another very long commitment, so I think this series has to wait first. Then I have The Institute by Stephen King. I got this one long time ago when I first got into reading, so it is around maybe 2019, winter 2019. Stephen King, without a doubt, is a very popular, well-known author, so I think why not start with him with his new release at that time. Honestly, I truly have no idea why I haven't read a book from 5 years ago. Maybe I just got it too long ago and I have already forgotten about it. I do want to read something from Stephen King, and obviously he is such a good author. Maybe I may do something like what I did last month, try to find a 5-star book, but just like replacing all the books with Stephen King's, to read all the Stephen King books in a vlog, basically. So someday I will read it, maybe as a special project for Halloween this year. I don't know, is it a good idea? The last one is also another one that I forgot why I get this book, and it is The 1,000 Names by Django Wexler. The author's name is so hard to pronounce. I honestly have no idea how I come across with this book and why I buy it. I think it is definitely a used copy because I see a sticker from that shop. I have absolutely no idea about what the plot is for this series, and I don't think many people are talking about it. So if I don't remember it, better not start with it. I really want to hold all the books and save for the ending, so these are all the books on my physical TBR, but I can't. There are just too many of them. To be honest, it is quite a lot, and I don't know how on earth will I be able to finish them. Luckily, I got planned for some of them. At least the situation is not that bad. I just need to remember, don't get too many new books in. You will regret it then. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Dynasty so you won't miss anything from me. I'll see you all real soon. Goodbye.